Oh yeah, it's Keyblade time again. In this video we'll be looking at all the keychains for Terra, Ventus and Aqua's Keyblades. As usual, let's quickly go over the stats associated with these Keyblades. For the most part there's no abilities or special features attached to them. In BBS, abilities are gained through command and melding, that whole system. So instead we have stats that are very close to the Keyblades in KH1. Strength and Magic, the classic duo, are here of course. Length comes in 3 varieties, short, medium and long, or at least that's all I could find on it. This is the case for all characters, but bear in mind that Terra's Keyblades are longer than the other two. We also have critical hits as a system again. Like with KH1, a crit rate determines the chance a hit will be a critical, and a multiplier decides just how much bonus damage that crit will do. This video is going to be more informative than opinionated this time around, because you probably know me by now. I like dark, edgy stuff, but also slick and elegant designs too. Matching colour schemes are good, so if you introduce too many different colours or clashing design elements, you're gonna lose me. But hey, if you like the opposite, that's all good. You do you, boo. Now let's get on with this. Okay, so we'll start with Terra's exclusive Keyblades. His default is the Earthshaker. I'll run through the stats on this one so you know what they are. It's got a strength of 3 and a magic of 1. Length is short, the crit rate is 25%, and the damage multiplier is a humble 1.2 times. Gotta love when your gaming video turns into a maths one, huh? It's a Terra Keyblade through and through, broad, chunky and overtly earth themed. It's very metallic looking and quite a cool design overall. You have Earthshaker and you have the cooler Earthshaker. This is also the more iconic version, given how many people have been smacked around with this during the Lingering Whale Super Boss in Cage 2. But yeah, Ends of the Earth, it's an upgraded Earthshaker, so it has a more elaborate design. The teeth are more pronounced, jutting out as though the Keyblade has turned British. Even the token has taken on a more fancy appearance. You want edgy? Well, here's edgy. The Chaos Ripper, or Reaper in Japan, is a long and brutal weapon. Like a dark version of the previous Keyblades, red and black dominates the design, and we have the ever unsettling gazing eye making a return on the end and the token. It certainly isn't any good for magic decks, and you get this after defeating Master Ericus, as a sign of Terra's succumbing to darkness, although in my opinion Ericus had it coming. Darkgnaw next. This is a lesser version of Chaos Ripper pretty much. Obtained through the Mirage Arena, it isn't quite as imposing as the Ripper, especially in length, but you can easily see how this also relates to Terra's earth-based Keyblades. The Gnaw part is represented by the teeth, which actually live up to the name Teeth this time. There's a sort of gazing eye on the token as well. Terra has 2 earth-themed and 2 dark-themed Keyblades, so that's quite indicative of his struggles in this game. Ventus now, who has 3 unique designs. Wayward Wind is his starter, and it's certainly one of the more unusual Keyblade shapes. Fitting though for his backhanded style. It's that offset handle and guard that's really responsible for this uniqueness. We've got a simple colour scheme, grey and bronze or dark gold. Some may find this boring, but it's probably for the best that this Keyblade doesn't draw any more attention to itself. The token represents Ventus well, with wind shapes, and his characteristic colour green. Lost Memory is next. This is obtained from visiting Destiny Islands, and unlike the other 2 characters, it's not really an upgrade of Ventus's base Keyblade. Instead, it's something quite new. The Keyblade represents Ventus's fractured heart, seen at the teeth and the token. The black and red segments act as a link to Vanitas, and even the guard is asymmetrical, to add to that feeling of incompleteness. From what I can see, people are mixed on this one. I personally like it well enough, but I don't love it. And yes, I rhymed Vanitas and incompleteness, but it wasn't intentional when I wrote the script. Well, we've seen Bond of Flame, and in DDD in Cage 3, there's Bond of the Blaze. So of course, here's another Lee-themed Keyblade, the Frolic Flame. Naturally, any good Axel or Lee-themed weapon has to have fire associated with it, and the roundness at the tip and the guard are a clear reference to his frisbees, which eventually become the chakrams. The guard, in fact, looks kinda mid-evolution between frisbee and chakram. The last detail to note is the Final Fantasy bomb, which appears twice here. Oh, and this Keyblade is the definition of average, just look at those stats. And of course we have to talk about Aqua, the star of the show. She has 5 unique Keyblades thanks to Final Mix, so let's start with her base Keyblade Rainfell. Aqua is a magic user, so this gets an extra boost in magic compared to Terra and Ventus' starters, and like those, it's quite a simple design. Blue is her colour. How lucky that her hair matches, huh? It's a pretty smart looking weapon, and I like how the guard doesn't quite touch the blade. The token is a water droplet, of course. In Japanese, the name of this is Rainfall, which does align with the upgrade's name a bit better. That upgrade being Stormfall, similar but with a more regular appearance. I mean that the teeth are more square and the guard is fully rounded. Honestly, I actually prefer the look of Rainfell over this, other than the length. The tokens become more elaborate in a similar fashion to Terra's upgrade. Years before Kairi can even wield her own Keyblade, Aqua gets a keychain based on it. It's short, but still a bit longer than Kairi's version, since Aqua is quite clearly older at the time of wielding. Otherwise, it looks almost identical to before. The crit rate is pretty high, so that's something to make up for its poor reach. In the final episode, after sealing Ventus within the Land of Departure, now a Castle Oblivion, you get the Brightcrest. This Keyblade goes all in with the water theme, and kind of feels like Aqua's fully evolved weapon. We've got the Wayfinder for the token, and at the tip, there's splashing waves throughout the design, and a heart-shaped guard. It's an elaborate design, but tasteful I think. They've kept a nice consistent colour scheme, with a little bit of yellow to offset all that blue. Of course the magic stat is one of the highest in the game, that makes sense. In Birth by Sleep Final Mix, we have the Secret episode, giving an insight into Aqua's trials in the Realm of Darkness. After she loses her previous Keyblade, she switches to the Master's Defender and uses this from then on. Well, until she loses it again and falls to darkness and has to use Mickey's, and then she regains this one. Until the end of Cage 3, where it serves as a grave marker for the original owner Ericus. Well, not original because it was brains to begin with, but let's not go any deeper than that. It's a very simple Keyblade, not all that pretty, but solid, you know. The square-shaped guard and E-shaped teeth are clearly referencing Ericus, whose name is an anagram of square, because he's such a square, or because of Square Enix, take your pick. Final couple of things, the token is what gets called Terra's Mark, although I find that a weird name given it's more the symbol of the Land of Departure, but whatever. The stats on this are very high, but that's understandable, because it's exclusive to a secret episode. And now to talk about keychains that all three protagonists share. I'm going to use Aqua's version for the pictures here. First of all, Stroke of Midnight. Obviously the Cinderella themed Keyblade, not something seedy. The Castle of Dreams is the main influence for this design. You see how many towers are on this thing? I'm trying to figure out why the teeth look the way they do, but I'm not sure. Gold at the guard gives an extra touch of royalty to this Keyblade. And then there's the glass slipper as a token, of course. And you guys know how it is. A lot of these Disney World Keyblades can be a bit meh for me, and this is one of them. It's not bad, I don't look at it with disgust, but I don't much care for it either. Probably one of my least favourites in the game, this
is a true treasure trove.
And it's the Dwarf Woodlands Keyblade. It's completely themed after the dwarves and their mine, featuring gemstones, minecart tracks, and a pickaxe as the teeth. I don't mind the pickaxe, but I'm not a big fan overall. There's 7 gems on the guard though, Kingdom Hearts number, or maybe it's the 7 Chaos Emeralds, but the Japanese name is Rock Splendor, and yeah, that makes a good bit of sense. Lastly of the 3 princess worlds is Fairy Stars. It's probably my favourite of the 3, despite the very colourful appearance. Obviously the colours are representing the good fairies, red for Flora, green for Fauna, and blue for Merryweather. In Union Cross, Keyblades are seen with other forms, other variations, and one of those adds a bit of Maleficent influence to the design, but I'm not going to go into anything else from that game. The token is the 3 fairy hats stacked on one another, and there's a bunch of stars on the Keyblade, blah blah blah. I think you get the point.
Get the point?
You know what everyone's favourite world in BBS is? Why, Disney Town, of course. That music isn't obnoxious at all. Such a world, so beloved by players, needs 2 Keyblades to go with it, obviously. First is the Victory Line, or Winning Medallion in the original Japanese. It looks like Disney Town. A clock tower, a winding key, like the ones we saw on the Racer and Verst. Check out my video on all the BBS and Verst if you want. There's also checkered flags and a medal to represent Rumble Racing. And at the base of the blade, hey, I think that's a lucky emblem. This Keyblade is a good example of the different sizes between the characters. You can see how Terra has an extra floor in the clock tower which increases the length of the blade without stretching anything out. The next Keyblade does this as well. See how Terra's Sweetstack has 6 scoops of ice cream, greedy, Aqua has 5, and Ventus has a measly 4. And yeah, you get this Keyblade for playing the ice cream beat minigame and making all of the creams of the ice. It's, it's a stack of ice cream balls, orange sliced teeth, vanilla cones on the guard, and even more ice cream for the chain and token. It certainly isn't messing around. This is the ultimate ice cream Keyblade you could ask for. And no, I'm not really a fan of it. As you can see, the crit rate is 100%, the only Keyblade in the game that does a guaranteed crit with every hit, but the multiplier is quite low. And hey, if you like ice cream, you should go watch my video ranking all the ice creams in BBS. It's a pretty sweet video. Another game, another version of Olympus, and so we have to have yet another take on a Hercules-themed Keyblade. Can you believe this is the 4th time I'm doing one of these? Well, here's Mark of a Hero.
Oh, hi, Mark.
And it's very much like what Cage 1 and 2's Keyblades are going for, a Colosseum-themed weapon, with a pillar blade, clouds, and a trophy, and, again, the Olympus Stone. This one is pretty low-key compared to some of the others we've seen. The design isn't trying to do too much, which is nice. Deep Space provides one of the most wacky-looking Keyblades in this game, the Hyperdrive. I quite like the blue helix blade on this. It's an interesting shape to be sure. As for the rest, well, the helix is actually the exhaust of that red ship at the tip there, the one Stitch uses to escape to Earth. We've got some green plasma as the teeth, and a guard that looks like a control panel or something. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. It's not the worst example, but it does feel like one of those crowded Disney Keyblades we've seen, especially in Cage 3. Oh yeah, and the token is one of his blasters. Neverland once again has a dainty Tinkerbell themed Keyblade, though I prefer this one slightly over Fairy Harp from the first game. The design is a bit more elegant, but keeps it simple, and now we have flowers as the teeth. You can see how the green represents both nature and Tinkerbell herself, especially the top of the guard looking like her dress there. We've got that feather token back again too, and as you'd expect, Pixie Petal is a short and magic based Keyblade. Back into the non-Disney themed Keyblades now. BBS has had quite a good selection of these. First up is Void Gear. This version you get from defeating the Vanitas Remnant, and like that boss, it's a black and white version of Vanitas' Keyblade. Gear is a very appropriate name for this one, as you can see from the teeth, the guard, and the token. Chains are also present, along with the Gazing Eye. This Keyblade has the joint highest strength stat in the game, alongside something we'll look at in a bit. Let's quickly look at 3 versions of Void Gear side by side. Vanitas' original coloured one, the Remnant variant, and finally the usable version that you can wield. The no-name Keyblade is like the Void Gear in that you get it from defeating a super boss. This time it's a reward for suffering through the god-awful unknown, aka Mysterious Figure, aka young Xehanort. Oh, and a little thing to note about both of these. They weren't in the original Japanese version of the game, but were introduced in the American and PAL versions, and then of course in all final mixes since. This Keyblade has a blue tone, and all your classic time iconography, a clock at one end and an hourglass at the other. There's even some cogs here too. Now in DDD and onwards, young Xehanort has a slightly different version of this Keyblade, with new design elements that make it look more sinister, but that's a topic for another time. This is the one you can actually get in BBS. I always like to save Ultima Weapon for last in these, but sadly this Keyblade is no longer top dog as of the final mix version of the game. The stats are high of course, although Void Gear has a higher strength stat, and then No Name, Brightcrest and Master's Defender all have higher magic. This time Ultima is obtained through the Mirage Arena, specifically the Villain's Vendetta match. Still, while mechanically it's being overshadowed, this Keyblade certainly doesn't disappoint when it comes to style. Once again, we have a sword sheathed in a delicate pattern, very much like the original Ultima. The colours, on the other hand, are closer to Cage 2's, with pale blues and white. That heart token is back again, but this time with a wayfinder, and the same design as seen at the teeth, which is noticeably curved this time around. All in all, this Ultima is a great addition to the lineup, clearly inspired by the previous entries, but with some changes to make it stand out, and I think the changes work really well, and they represent Birth by Sleep pretty nicely. So, thanks to Final Mix, here we have the actual ultimate weapon in the game, Royal Radiance. This is gained by completing the Peering into Darkness battle at the Mirage Arena. That's the one where you fight No Heart. Hey, we've got another Helix Blade, although this one is more refined than Hyperdrive's. There's a crown and heart at the end, obviously referencing No Heart, same for the token. Meanwhile, the rest of the Keyblade is themed after the Mirage Arena itself. I'm going to be honest here, I'm not a huge fan of the design. There's a lot going on, and while I do like elements of it, as a whole it doesn't come together for me. Just a bit over-designed. Simplify it a little and it could be better, though I expect I'd still prefer Ultima. Mechanically, it's easily the best Keyblade in the game, with the highest possible stats, and a whopping 2x crit damage. Sweetstack still has the edge on crit rate, but I'm not sure that matters much, 75% is plenty high enough. Oh, and this Keyblade is unique in that it has a special effect. As stated by the description, it increases the speed at which the command gauge fills up. Yeah, that's pretty handy. Finally, we have a few non-player Keyblades to look at. Here's Xehanort's No Name, originally wielded by Lushu and passed down over the generations. And you know, I love this thing. If you're going to have the most ancient Keyblade, it needs to look the part, and this does. It's also one of the most evil looking weapons in the series. so naturally I'm drawn to it. We have a very sharp and deadly looking double blade, a demonic goat at the base, and then the guard, which looks like bat wings. There at the tip is the original gazing eye, so the Master of Masters can watch events unfold in the future. The entire thing is black and grey, with the only other colour being blue for the goat eyes and the gazing eye. Oh well, I guess the gazing eye has a little green in it too. This muted colour scheme is ideal for a Keyblade as serious and significant as this, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Less serious, but significant for emotional reasons, is the wooden Keyblade that Terra gives to Ventus to train with. It looks like a cross between the Kingdom Key and Terra's Keyblades. As you can see, the teeth are like the ones on ends of the earth. Terra also carved his name on it like a good boy. Eventually Vanitas snaps the thing in half, and so ends the life of this wooden replica. Finally, we have the Keyblade, the fundamental weapon that all Keyblades are based upon and the counterpart to Kingdom Hearts itself. Here it is in its complete and incomplete forms. I really don't like this thing. For such an important piece of Kingdom Hearts lore and essentially the original key of the universe, I'd expect it to look, well, better. It's just kind of goofy, you know? In particular the crossed Kingdom Keys, they're so awkward. And I know they're forming the key shape, the X shape, but then you have to hold where the guards meet, which seems pretty strange. Also, we know the Kingdom Key was designed first, it's the original Kingdom Hearts Keyblade, so rather than the Keyblade feeling like a progenitor of that, instead it feels like a previous design copied and pasted twice and glued together, because that's exactly what it is. And hell, if they were gonna go this route, why not use the Kingdom Key D as well? That way you'd have light and darkness in balance, which I think makes total sense for this. I guess the design would look even worse if you mixed a gold blade with a silver, but by this point it's already bad, so would it really matter that much? I haven't even talked about the rest of it. Well, I like the sword part, it's quite similar to Ultima, which is cool. The shape, I mean, I don't like the pale green at all. The yellow is alright. The token has a red and black heart, kinda like the Heartless emblem. That makes sense, it's Kingdom Hearts. But the crossed Keyblades are here again, ugh. This whole thing just looks kinda plasticky to me, it gets even worse in Unreal Engine. It looks a bit like a toy. There's probably gonna be people shouting at me for this one, and conversely I know there's others who would feel the same way I do. As always, come up with your own opinions, but I can tell you for sure, I will never like this stupid thing. Now I know what you might be thinking, Nova, where's the hit effects? Well, I don't have all the Keyblades in my save files, nor do I really want to go and get the missing ones. I'm quite happy with never fighting Mysterious Figure ever if I can avoid it. I could have asked someone to record the ones I don't have, I guess, but I didn't really want to delay this video. Look, if you want to see the hit effects, go smack some things in your own copy of the game, I don't really care. But anyway, that's it for today. Which Keyblades do you like? Which do you not like? Which do you tend to use in your playthroughs? Are you a dog or a cat person? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to smile and nod my head at any fellow cat people. Watch my other videos if you want. Check out my Twitch as well. You know where the links are, I might as well save my breath. Thanks for watching and goodbye.